Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Power Hour. I'm your host, Detroit Lenny, here with Picks and Parlays. Don't forget, I got to remind everybody real quick about nohouseadvantage.com. You sign up with nohouseadvantage.com or on the, anywhere you want to download the app. Sign up now. Use the promo code PNP at nohouseadvantage.com. Download the app. Like I said, it's available in all your app stores. You'll get a first deposit match up to $50. No House Advantage is changing the game. It's by offering all the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. All you gotta do is sign up. It's real easy. Download the app. Do it. All right. Here's what we're gonna go over today. We got a few games to go over. Some games that are a little, I think, sneaky good. No. Louisiana. I should say LSU, Georgia. North Texas and UTSA. I just call them UTSA. Bear with me, folks. Jacksonville, Detroit, and Pittsburgh, Atlanta. So without further ado, we are going to bring in my first guest from Earl Sportsbooks. I can't talk today. It's Monday. Yep. Forget it. It's Tim Earl, everybody. Tim Earl. How we doing, Tim? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Can't complain. Got to hang out with family.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I could complain about that, but the food.
Oh yeah, well, always complain.
Hey, the pies were good. I didn't burn the house down when I deep fried a turkey, so
good job. That's always a plus.
Yeah, it's always a win there, right there. Let's talk North Texas versus UTSA. UTSA's -8 over under 65 or 67.5. This is the Conference USA Championship game. This is played Friday. The second, before you get into this and start breaking this down, I want to tell everybody about our new promo here for Power Hour. Use the promo code HOLIDAY, save you 20% off the entire website. All you got to do is go to the website, just type that in at checkout, save you 20% off. Tim, talk to me about this. Does North Texas even have a shot?
No. Now, sorry. But when we look at this one, you get I know a lot of sites will say, because I know a lot of people will use covers to look up this stuff, and it says neutral. Don't let that trick you. It's in the UTSA stadium. It says neutral, and it says Alamo Dome. It's in UTSA. And when I looked at these are two teams that are on different levels. You get UTSA, who was 10-2 this year, and I believe their losses weren't that bad. Yeah, they lost to Texas early in the year. And then they lost to, I believe it was Houston. Early. Yeah, they lost to Houston as well in overtime. And then they've rattled off 9 straight.
That was the first game of the year. Right?
They lost to Houston in the first game of the year in overtime.
Yeah. So
they got blown out by Texas by 21. Other than that, they ran through their entire schedule. And they were pretty solid all year. North Texas is barely bowl eligible at 7-5. They kind of had a good stretch in the middle of the season where they covered in 6 straight games. But I don't know. This just seems like this one's going to be a blowout. UTSA is just on a different level. I'm just going to take them -8, 7.5, whatever you get them at. Because when they win this game, I don't know, 42-21, it won't matter what spread you get it at, because they're just going to – I feel like they just blow out North Texas in this game.
Now, they have played North Texas already this year, and that game finished 31-27.
Yeah, it was a little bit closer.
But I'm on page with you on this. I just think it's a different – the Roadrunners are playing a different caliber of ball. They really are. They're trying to really compete with the big boys, and they're going to – I think they're really going to show out for this game. North Texas, look, how do you not want to root for a team named the Mean Green? Okay, how do you not want to get behind that?
Get the Roadrunners on the other side.
Exactly. So, this is just a battle of great teams names, in my opinion.
And I believe
Mean Green versus the Roadrunners.
And I believe UTSA is moving out of this conference next year, so I think they're on their way to the American.
Yes, obviously. So they want to end.
I think North Texas might be as well.
Possibly.
I think they're both moving out of Conference USA next year. So there you go.
Boom. There you go. So somebody's taking the trophy and going.
See ya. Bye.
I got to remind everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Picks and Parlay Power Hours here Monday through Friday. 3 p.m. Eastern, as always. See what I did there with the graphics and the little Santa and the hat and stuff like this right there, because it's holiday season. Get on board, folks. You better get on Santa's nice list. All right, we're moving on to... No, you're fine.
For this one, will we?
Now, this one, we're moving on here to some NFL. Sunday, December 4th, Steelers at the Falcons. Falcons minus 1.5. Over-unders 42.5. Got to remind everybody as well about the new promo we have for Picks and Parlays, Power Hour. Use the promo code HOLIDAY, okay? HOLIDAY, and that'll save you 20% off the entire site. And that is basically one of these little gift bags right here. You're welcome, folks. All right, to break this down, Steelers, Falcons, next Sunday. What are we talking?
Well, I will give a disclaimer. Pittsburgh does play tonight as we're recording this, so if there's any injuries or anything, it could influence the game next week. But as if we're going after it as if they've already played, looking at the two teams, both of them Pittsburgh's having the rebuild year. And that's kind of what I expected from it because losing Ben Roethlisberger and all that stuff. They have a solid defense, though. The defense is what keeping them in games, and T.J. Watt is one of the big reasons why. On the opposite side, we get Atlanta, who they had a chance to win that game yesterday against Washington, and then Mariano decided to throw an interception in the end zone, which was great because we had Washington, but that's not the point. This Falcons team was doing well, but we got a Falcons team that's heading in the wrong direction because they started off the season 6-0 against the spread. Since then, they are 1-5 against the spread. So they're going in the opposite direction of where we're going. Pittsburgh on a short week, but when I come to it, I'm going to go under the total. I think it's going to be more of a defensive matchup. I think Pittsburgh will be able to slow them down. And when it comes to it, I don't think Pittsburgh scores all that much. So when I'm going after this game, we're going to go ahead and take the under 42.5 order.
I don't hate it. I do think that at the beginning of the year, I was riding Atlanta's overs and Atlanta covering, but they have since just kind of leveled in and kind of settled into, I don't know. Not a good team. Not a good team lately. Not a good team. Yeah, mid. So Tim riding in the under 42.5 when the Steelers take on the Falcons. Guys, don't forget, like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Power Hour is brought to you Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Tim Earl, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for stopping by, my friend.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, guys, we're still going to go over. We still got SEC championship game, LSU Georgia, and we're going to talk Jacksonville traveling to arguably the hottest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. But we'll get to that later. Now we're going to talk Craig Trapp. He's in the house, everybody. What's up, Craig Trapp?
Your Detroit Lions love. That's funny.
It's the love runs deep here. Okay,
it does run deep.
I'm just saying.
It's good. It's post Thanksgiving.
What do you think of my new shirt?
I got one just like it. I like it.
I know. Some Santa sent it to me. Santa sent it to me.
I think this is a dangerous week. Championship week can.
Yes.
No matter where you are in the season, as college football or football in general, if that's how you rank your football, this can be a dangerous week because it's a week after Thanksgiving. You have teams in the NFL that are on short weeks. You have teams on extra buys. You have teams in like SEC championship game where different motivation in these championship games than others. You have coaches leaving. A lot to process.
Lot to process. Before we break down this LSU Georgia game, I want to remind everybody, new promo here for Power Hour. Use the promo code HOLIDAY. That'll save you 20% off the entire website. All you got to do is just, when you're at checkout, just type in HOLIDAY. Boom, it'll take 20% off right there. Now, talk to me, LSU, Georgia. Obviously, Georgia doing Georgia things, right? Number one school in the country. They're minus 17 here. Over under is 50.5. LSU, I don't want to say I want to take anything away from them, but they're ranked what, 5th? They're trying to get in there. Talk to me about this game. What do you think?
Well, they won't be 5th after the rankings come out. We're filming this on Monday.
That's true.
Of course, LSU lost at A&M, and all they needed to do was win out, and they were going to be in the championship. Now, I don't even think if they win, they would get in. Georgia, on the other hand, Georgia can lose. Georgia can lose and still get in. That's how big a disparity I think it is between them and the next best team in college football.
Correct.
And the 17 points tells you that. You don't see the SEC championship very often. You won't see a championship game in many of the Power 5 conferences where you're getting 17 points with the underdog. And Coach Kelly has an up and down season. Let's remember, he started the year with that loss against Florida State in a neutral site game. Then he finishes the year with a tough loss at Texas A&M. In between, LSU was pretty daggone good. But that's it's a deserving underdog. Let's just say that, the way they played last week.
Fair.
I think if they win on the road last week, even if they wouldn't have looked good, if they would have found a way to win, I'm guessing with this line would be more like 13, 14 points. So you're getting an extra 3 or 4 points here, and that's why I'm on LSU here. I think LSU has a lot more to gain by a win than does Georgia. Like I said, I think Georgia can lose and still get in, maybe even lose, still get in and be the number 1 or 2 seed, where, which is all that really matters, is that you're the 1 or 2. To me, that's the biggest disparity in college football right now, is between 1 and everybody else. I think Georgia does win, but I think it's closer to 7 to 8, 9, 10 points. 17 points. That's an absolute ton. And against an LSU team that looked terrible last week, when you're betting, remember this: the worse someone looks last week, the bigger edge you actually have that next week, because they're going to have a huge bounce back week. You're getting more points than you probably should have because they looked poor last week. That's what they call the ugly dog theory in handicapping. So last week they looked terrible. They're a big dog this week. That's when you really want to play teams that are underdogs. So this is a great spot as a handicapper for LSU getting all the points.
I think you hit the nail on the head here. I think they're getting 3 to 4 points just because of that loss last week. I mean, maybe 4 is a lot, but definitely 3. If they win last week, maybe this is like 14 and a hook.
Yeah, probably 13
right
and a half, I'm guessing.
13 and a hook. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right there. So I think you're right here. LSU maybe, or I should say Georgia maybe doesn't have the foot all the way on the gas here. It can ease up a little bit. And maybe I like an LSU backdoor cover.
Let's remember, though, Georgia did lose the SEC championship last year when they were the number 1 seed to Alabama. So I definitely don't think they'll be quite as overconfident as they were last year. But this isn't Alabama they're facing. This isn't Nick Saban they're facing. And as much as I like Brian Kelly, was a Cincinnati coach, which everybody knows I'm a Cincinnati fan, he hasn't been the best in the biggest games. Let's remember, when he's been in the big games, he hasn't looked the best.
That's fair. Guys, I got to remind everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Power Hour is brought to you Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's get into some NFL here. Sunday action. Jacksonville coming to town, take on my Lions. Lions are, I don't even want to say it, a favorite. 1.5 point favorite. Over under is 51.5. Before you break down this game, I got to tell everybody about the promo this week. Use the promo code HOLIDAY. Save 20% off the entire site. All you got to do is put in HOLIDAY at the checkout. It'll just take 20% right off. That's what Santa's bringing you this year. All right. Jacksonville at the Lions. Go ahead. Tell me why the Lions are going to lose.
Well, they are deserving favorite here. The Lions, since what, 4 or 5 weeks ago, right? Like, that's when things started. They started to get healthy. The defense, at least, was they're still giving up lots of yards. I mean, this is not the best defense, but they were getting turnovers. And you can give up yards in the NFL if you can make them kick field goals, or you can get turnovers. And they've started to do that. And then this offense, like I said, starting to get healthy. So they're a deserving favorite here. But 1.5 points, it's like, are we in an alternative universe here that Detroit has? What's the second game this year they've been favored, or is it third?
I think this is the third.
This
is the third. Yeah. And the other ones, by the way, were like Washington and
Houston, right?
No, they haven't played Houston. Chicago. I think they were favored against Chicago. No, because they were in Chicago. Maybe this is the second one.
Well, but when you look at it, Lenny, first of all, great game last week where they had a chance in that game to lay down and just kind of get blown out, and they didn't do it. I mean, this team has fought back. Coaching. If you don't think coaching matters in football, this is one of those teams. Like, if you put this team with a bad coach, they've 3 or 4 wins is what they're going to finish at. But when you can get a coach to get players up to believe, anything can happen in a 1-game setting, and that's the case in the NFL. Is always just one game. It doesn't matter what you did last week. Doesn't
why
matter
they play the game.
That's right. But I think Jacksonville, that was a huge win. Jacksonville beating the Baltimore Ravens, which the Ravens, they play a ton of close games, but they usually find ways to win those games. And Jacksonville going for 2, like that was like putting your, cojones on the table, as they say. And I think that is one of those things that, like Doug Peterson, like I think, he's kind of got that coaching magic as well. And Trevor Lawrence looked great last week, and they got the weapons around him. I think they have the better defense of these two teams, and I like the offenses are basically a wash. So to me, I hate to do it to you, Lenny, but I just got to call it as I see it. I think this is a Jacksonville win. They at least Detroit Lions do have an extra few days to prepare. That's definitely an advantage. Remember, they played on Thanksgiving Day, so a couple days to prepare does help. But I do like Jacksonville to pull off a win outright. We'll take the 1.5 because weird stuff happens this time of year in NFL. But hey, no matter what happens, Detroit's not making playoffs this year. You have to be ready to go next year, because this team, if they get a few free agents on defense, like you're talking about, this team could flip, which I think they're going to win like 6 games this year, maybe 5-6 games. Next year they could flip where they only lose 5 or 6 games. And that's what you're really looking for, is when you take that quantum leap. And I think next year's the year for Detroit.
What I love about this team is they believe, and you can see it in their self. I mean, I watch every Lions game. Obviously, Lions, they believe in themselves. And that is 100% coaching. Whether they are the greatest talented, it does not matter. They believe they can get it done, and they never stop fighting, which is something I haven't seen in a long time for a Lions fan. And another thing I realized handicapping this game, Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence are very similar stats for the year. So I'm good. I'm obviously on the Lions and everything like that. I do think having a little extra time being at home is going to factor in. I like the Lions here, and that's just that's.
I would say the one that's the big edge. The extra week is huge, but I think that is actually counteracted by Jacksonville. Such a big come from behind win.
Exactly, that's the
that kind of thing really can. And when you have those big wins, you don't want extended time. You want to play. I mean, heck, lace them up on Thursday if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, because you want to carry that momentum over.
Their momentum,
when you win, especially in those kinds of forms. So I do think Jacksonville has that edge. And can the Lions use that extra rest? I will say the question when Detroit land is Jared Goff the quarterback next year, or do they draft him and he's the quarterback and then have a quarterback in waiting? That'll be
one more year with Jared Goff.
I think they'll probably draft someone in the first round and then but play Jared Goff next year. But you never know. Someone could make a trade offer that you can't say no to. And
I don't know, that Matt Stafford trade last year is looking real good for us, because the Rams are gonna finish bottom 5. So that's gonna wrap that up though. So tread lightly, folks. You want to follow Craig Trapp and the Jacksonville Jaguars? That's fine. Be on Santa's naughty list all you want.
Sprinkle the money.
Yes. Like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Power Hours here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Craig Trapp, I appreciate you stopping by, guys. We'll see you guys on the next Power Hour. Take care. Good luck, unless you're against me. And remember, Lions, Buffalo.